In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the superhuman diet and how the foods that you're eating could be the direct cause of your brain fog, of your focus, of your productivity, of your performance, how much money that you're making in your business, what your mood is day in, day out, how it's impacting your sleep, and a whole lot more. Now, what you have to understand about the foods that you're eating in your body are extremely important because when you look at it on a first principles level, if you went down to its raw building blocks, when you eat that food, it gets broken down by your teeth and it goes down into your gut. After that, your gut starts digesting those foods, and then the nutrients get absorbed into your bloodstream and used as fuel for your hormones, for your energy, for your brain neurotransmitters, for focus, to think, to feel happy, to feel relaxed, to feel good, and a whole lot more. But what happens is, if the foods that you're eating are going into your gut and causing inflammation in your gut, then that is going to make you feel worse. Now, foods are one of the biggest contributors to all of this, and I've worked with clients who have experienced, for example, like rheumatoid arthritis or many of these other health conditions, literally for decades, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And when we remove the foods, even though they've been on medications for decades, years at a time, we remove these foods, and within 3 or 4 weeks, their symptoms are gone. They might be off medication, but for you, maybe you feel like a 6 out of 10, or maybe you feel like a 7 out of 10. You're looking to get to that 10 out of 10 mark. What we need to do is eliminate every single piece that is holding you back. You know, it's just like a race car that's moving forward. We have to remove every single part that's not aerodynamic anymore, that's not helping getting that car faster or getting that rocket to propel forward at a faster rate, more efficiently, without all that wind slowing down. Now, the higher that you operate on, the more efficient you want to be. You have to be more fine-tuned with all this stuff. And so if the foods that you are eating are causing inflammation in your gut, 80% of our immune system is located inside of our gut. Now, this doesn't mean just getting sick. It can also mean slowing you down. Like when when you're sick and you have that feeling that you just have that brain fog and you can't think properly. Well, you don't have to be sick for your immune system to be slowing you down. That could just be a minor form. You wake up, you have some brain fog, and you need some coffee to compensate for that brain fog. It could be that when you go to the gym and you work out, it takes you like 2 or 3 days just to recover from all that. It could be that you're forgetting things, you're forgetting people's names. You find that your memory is bad sometimes. It's not what it once was, 5, 10, or 15 years ago. All these things can be contributing factors to body inflammation. And because when the body is inflamed, then the brain becomes inflamed. And when the brain becomes inflamed, then it's very difficult for it to operate at its peak capacity. And so if we keep going upstream in terms of why does this happen, working with clients for many years now, the food is one of the biggest contributors. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and the application of all this together. The very first thing that you want to do is follow a food elimination diet. Now, what you want to do is for 4 to 6 weeks, you want to eliminate certain foods that are causing inflammation inside of your gut. Now, there's many different theories on this. Some of them are more right, some of them are more wrong. There's something to contradict everything. There's many different coaches who specialize in one type of diet. So of course, they're going to talk about that one more. But I like to see everything from a bird's eye view, and we can pick and choose the pros and cons for each one and make it in a way so it works best to you. Here's what I have found from my own experience. What that is sometimes a paleo autoimmune diet. Now, you might have certain food restrictions, whether you don't eat meat, you're pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian. I completely honor all of that. And I'm making this video assuming that you don't have these different dietary restrictions. But if you do, then there's a solution for you too. And I'm happy to make a video on that in the future as well. But here's what you want to consider. The foods that you're eating with every meal that you eat, think of it like a template, a diet template. And every meal we want to have 1 protein, 1 carb, 1 fat, and 1 seasoning. If you nail all those 4 buckets, you have a winning meal. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is you want to make sure that all the foods that you're eating are good, high quality sources of food, not sprayed with pesticides, chemicals, GMOs, all the stuff that is in food, supplied today, especially within, North America, where it's extremely bad, in different parts of the world too. But once we're able to have good quality food, next is we want to make sure that the foods we're eating, we do not have a sensitivity to. Now, when it comes to protein, one of the biggest sources of inflammation that people have is eggs. Eggs are amazing. They have so many nutrients. It has choline, which is so good for the brain. but the egg whites in particular can cause a lot of issues for people. And so what we want to do, if we find that we're having some of these issues, we might not know that we have a sensitivity to eggs. And so what we want to do is remove this for a period of about 4 to 6 weeks. And I'll get to a moment how we actually reintroduce this back into our diet. So number one first is the eggs within the protein that we want to remove. Now you can eat, rotate between fish, salmon, try and stay away from bigger fish like, swordfish, tuna, because they can contain a lot of mercury, swordfish, etc. But every other type of meat, like you can have pork, you can have beef, making sure it's grass-fed, you can have steaks, you can have chicken, and make it in a way that it makes it easy for you to cook and work with. Next is going to be carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates is where a lot of sensitivities can come in for a lot of people. Even the foods that you're eating, even if they're healthy, can be causing you sensitivities and slowing you down at the same time. I will give you some examples. Vegetables are very good for you. However, certain vegetables can be causing inflammation within your gut. Now, a couple of these can be the following. There's a type of food, it's called grains, and within grains you have quinoa, you have brown rice, you have granola, and you also have oatmeal. And there's other forms of grains that are out there, and this goes along the lines of gluten and dairy, which I think you should remove. Gluten removed, number one for sure, away from your diet for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Dairy, number two, and then grains, I would say, is number three. Lentils is also in there, so beans and some certain forms of nuts as well. But when you remove, for example, the grains is gonna be number one. Gluten is gonna be up there as number one too. So gluten will be everything that contains bread, certain soy sauces that have wheat, barley, buckwheat. You can easily ChatGPT this and just see what foods that you are potentially eating that could contain some of these things. But once we remove this and any other food sensitivities, other ones for some people could be nightshades or FODMAPs. Nightshades could be tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers. There's other ones where you can go into oxalate foods, and there's a big breakdown, but the biggest thing is I would start with the protein by removing the eggs for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and you can eat any other of the protein assuming that it's a really good quality source. Number two, with the veggies, veggies in general are typically pretty okay, but I would probably remove the tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers for the next 4 to 6 weeks. When we move onwards to more of the fats are very good, but we want to eat the right kinds of fats. Now, please do not have any kind of cooking oils that, for example, are like vegetable oils, palm oils, canola oils. These things are cancer. You do not want them in your body. They're going to slow you down. Please trust me on this. They can stay inside of your body for months, if not year on end. And instead, we want to have, for cooking, we want to typically cook in coconut oil or avocado oil. And then if we're having something that's more room temperature or cold, that's where we want to have olive oil. Now, olive oil isn't so good for cooking because it has a thermal point. So we typically want to use, avocado oil or coconut oil for these types of things. Now, this is very good for our brain. The fast will lower inflammation and it's going to make you feel great. Now, any of the other carbs that you're eating, whether it be fruits, whether it be the veggies, fruits are very good to have frozen because they typically have more nutrients inside of them opposed to getting them fresh. And if you're trying to save money, that is something that I recommend as well. And then when you go to the fats, try removing all the nuts as much as possible. Ask me for the specific template down below, and then I'll tell you exactly what those ones are. The other things that you want to keep in mind is peanuts, because peanuts, when you eat peanuts, are going to cause a lot of inflammation. They typically have a lot of mold too. Pistachios are usually okay, and sometimes macadamia nuts can be okay, and those are typically like the two best nuts to have. Brazil nuts from time to time you can have as well, but those you want to be very careful with. Now, when we move to the spices, you can really eat as many spices as you like. The more spices that you put on, the better. When you cook food, make sure it's not, charred. The more you burn it, the more toxic it is for your body. But put on like rosemary, turmeric, basil. Go to town with all these spices. But there are some spices that can be causing inflammation on your body. These can include paprika, nutmeg can be one, and anything that's more on the spicy side, like hot sauces and things like this. So if you can focus on that, think of each food that you're eating, whether it's on your plate Do you have one protein? Do you have one fat? Do you have one carb? And do you have one seasoning? If you have that, great. Then focus on the food quality. Is it organic? Is it good quality? Is it grass-fed if it's for the grass-fed meats? Is it, non-pesticide? And you can check out the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And I'll share more videos on this of the foods that you should eat and not eat if you really want to become the true superhuman to unlock all these different areas inside of your life. But once you achieve this, then we can start focusing on how much food should you be eating. And that's going to be in another video. If you would like the exact template that I use with all my paying clients of the foods that you should remove for the next 4 to 6 weeks, I will link it down below. And if you'd like to learn more about the model of Superhuman, I included a video down below for you to check out that you can easily adopt into your own life. Signing out here from Maui. I'm unfortunately leaving in the next couple days, but it's been a great time. More videos to come, and I can't wait to see you real soon.